knees were killing me. They were literally killing me, and it was to the point where I thought I was going to have them scoped. Something was going to have to be done, or I was just going to have to quit running. And so I was online one day on the Runner's World forums, and I was reading about this long-haired, Jesus-looking guy running the Long Beach Marathon barefoot. And so I was intrigued by that, and I found this website called runningbarefoot.org, and so I started talking with Ken Bob Saxton, and that very day I work at Sprint, and so there's that, I don't know if you guys know, right there at the corner of Knoll and 119th. I'm going to stop. Hi, what's your name?
Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Nice to meet you.
Glad you're here, man. We're just, we did introductions, that's it, and we're just kind of, where are you from? Are you from this area?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So I was just telling them a little bit about how I got into barefoot running. So that very day, I work at Sprint, so I was over there at Knoll, and they've got that recycled tire tread trail thing over there. It's kind of cushy, and it's got all these little pieces of tire. So I went out there. I ran 2 miles that day barefoot, and I blistered, and I loved it. I loved it. I was like, oh, this is so cool. You know, and I've got these big blisters, big gnarly blisters. So I went down to Gary Dribble's that day, and I bought the most minimalist type of running shoe I could find. It was a racing flat. So then I thought, well, I've got 2, 3. I think I still, yeah, I was going to run Dallas White Rock that year. And so I went down and I ran Dallas White Rock that year in racing flats. And then so I was training for Boston because I was already qualified for Boston. So then, hey Michael, and so I was already qualified for Boston that year. And so I trained through the winter. I mean, guys, I made these Nike sandals. I kind of converted them, put a strap around the back so I could wear those. I was still blistering, so I was wrapping my feet in duct tape or whatever I could do, you know, to just get out there and feel as much of the ground as I could. So long story short, I gave up shoes totally in April of 2004. Ran Boston barefoot, well, most of it, 21 miles of it barefoot. It was the hottest, 2004 was the hottest year in years and years in Boston. The pavement was just grueling, and I had sandals with me, so I wore them for about 5 miles, from about mile 16 to mile 21. And, but, you know, the rest of it was barefoot. And since then, it's been, you know, 51 barefoot marathons since then. I'd ran 18 with shoes before that, so you know, I've ran a few. I've ran a couple of 40-milers barefoot, and you know, it's kind of a motto with me: is inch by inch, it's a cinch, mile by mile, it's a trump. If you just do a little bit, you get out there, you just persevere through it. You allow your body to teach you and show you. Then you know, it's very doable. It's very doable. What are some of the? I just want to throw this out. What are some of the reactions you've gotten to barefoot running?
Cool, mostly curiosity.
Yeah.
Positive, actually.
People thinking that you're just like some super tough person.
Super tough.
Not any different than anybody else.
Yeah. Hi.
Everybody always says, oh, I can never do that, I have bad knees.
Exactly. Hi. How you doing? What's your name?
Josh.
Josh. Hey, Josh. Well, I knew Josh, but I wanted everybody else to hear his name, so I'm glad Josh made it. Josh is a premier barefoot runner in this area as far as trails. He runs trails very well barefoot, so maybe he can tell us a little bit about that here in a little bit. But so what other reactions have you gotten from about barefoot running?
Just lots of stairs.
Lots of stairs? Yeah.
I know my favorite is when people stop and they're like, "Are you okay?"
You know, exactly. I mean, yeah, are you okay? Yeah, a lot of people really don't want to know, I don't think, with me. You know, they just want to keep going. But Yeah, I've gotten every type of reaction. I've had people throw things at me from a car window. You know, beer bottles in front of me. You know, it's just tons of weird reactions. But when you ran 16,000 plus miles in the last few years, you know, there's a lot of opportunity for people to do stuff. So, right.
But yeah, people are just people.
Yeah, yeah. So, what we're here for this morning is we're here to talk about form and function as far as barefoot running. And, you know, when you say you're going to set up a workshop for barefoot running, you think, well, you know, what is there to it? You put one foot in front of the other just like you would if you've got polyurethane on your feet. You know, it's the same sort of deal. But it's different. As you all know, it is different. You know, there are nuances that will make and will help your form. Does anybody have any good definitions or explanations as far as what good running form is? Can somebody sum that up for me in say 30 seconds?
Efficient.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. It's efficient.
Soft.
Soft. Yeah. I'm thinking, though, define it for me. Define it for me in 30 seconds. What would be good form to you?
Taking the energy that is produced by gravity and transferring that into forward motion.
That's good. Are you like a physicist?
No, but I've read a lot.
That's really good. You know, the thing is you really want a vertical torso. I could probably just stand up here. You really want a vertical torso when you're running barefoot. You want a slight bend in the knee. What I like to do, and it's something I call haunch running, is I'm literally running from my haunches back here. And I'm pushing myself forward, and you're pushing yourself forward and you're letting the gravity take you forward. The thing is what I like to do is I like to have the slight bend of the knee to where I'm actually feeling like I'm sucking the ground, where I'm vertically sucking the ground, and then my buns, my cheeks are actually tightening to the point where they're actually pushing me forward. Have you guys experienced that? Yeah, and that is when I feel like I'm floating. That's when I feel like I'm the most efficient. Because if I can just, if I'm trying to stand as erect as possible when I'm running barefoot, I clump.
Yeah.
You know, but if I'm trying to actually return to my center, which is gravity, which is the center of if I'm trying to return to that with a slight bend of the knee, then I float.
Yeah.
So, you know, does anybody else have any experiences with that they'd like to share? Yeah.
I guess in my, I don't know. The way I would see that, also in my words, I see that as not jogging up and down, you know. And I think it's funny when I run with my friends. Sometimes when we do a slow run, I mean, they're exerting so much energy bobbing up and down, and I mean they get this workout just going up and down, and I'm like, oh, this is a breeze, because all I was doing was fast walking, you know. And I mean I'm just, and I notice I go level and they're going like this,
Yep.
know? And I just see that
That's right.
difference.
That's right. I guess what I'd like to see now is we'd have a couple, 3 volunteers to get out here and to run past us so we can see, so we can look at your form. Particularly, I'd like to have Josh out there because I know he's got really good running form. And whoever else would like to go out there, yeah, that's great. And just maybe start over here by these barrels, and I'll go out there. I'll volunteer.